I'm not going to wait for YouTube to catch up, as YouTube's playing the fool today, so we're going to get a move on. Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports and Gaming. For the last two videos we've done so far, YouTube's just been swirling and swirling and swirling, but we're going to push on anyway. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world listening to this broadcast. Welcome to the James Ali Bashir Show. Uncle Bashir, how you doing?
I'm doing fairly well. I'm alive, I'm breathing. In the wake of this coronavirus, I'm doing pretty well.
Okay, so what's been your take of the coronavirus so far?
It's I don't know what to think of this, but it's the governments around the world have played so many tricks on so many people, especially in the U.S. They've done so many tests, on different people at different times. You never can tell what to believe. But I do believe that this is an assault, a purposely man-made assault on the people of all governments. For what reason, I don't know. It could be a number of reasons, but I do believe that this is an assault on people, an experiment of some kind.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, how's life been with you otherwise? How's your health been?
My health is coming along, it's a slow process. I'm not trying to rush. I just want to go step by step until I'm 100%, if there's such a thing. I saw this situation with this artist, Mac, Clarissa Shields' brother, where they made a plea bargain. A plea bargain in the United States roughly means that they're going to give him a slap on the wrist and allow him to walk away from this situation unscathed. But I also found out through the probation department in the city of Flint, Michigan, that he has not even been tried for a felony arson, I believe it is, if I'm not mistaken. But he has not even been tried for an arson charge that he was facing prior to the attack that he made on me. So I'm trying to figure out how could they make a plea bargain for aggravated assault against me and he hasn't even faced the charge that he had prior to me. So something reeks. There's something reeks of filth and corruption here, because they allowed him to do a plea bargain and he hasn't even been to court yet on the arson charge. So how could that possibly be? So I'm asking my attorney to look into this. It's disgusting. It's deplorable, to say the least. But again, this happens only because it's a black on black crime. If there was another ethnic group, specifically white, this wouldn't have happened like this. And until we, black people, as a whole, we're separated by denominations, we're separated by religion, we're separated by politics, we're separated by geographical locations. But in reality, we all one people. And when we come to the front gate, we should come as a unified front. This happens with black people because they know that other blacks don't care to get involved, until something like that happens to them. Something like that happens to one of their loved ones. this person was allowed to attack me, and they make a corrupt backroom deal to preserve his freedom. And he hasn't even been to court yet for committing the arson charge. So I'm saying, wait a minute, they're putting the cart before the horse. How could they make a deal to exonerate him in this charge? Because basically that's what it is, exoneration. If he doesn't do 10 years for what he did to me, then that's an exoneration. So if they don't stand up and do something about what he did to me, it's like telling him, oh, you can go out and you can basically do the same thing to another black person. Mind you, you can do commit another act like this against another black person. Don't commit this crime against a white person now, because the horse changes. Okay? If you change the color of the person, everything changes. All right? The race changes. But if you do it to another black person, you can get away with that again. So that's where I'm at now. I'm fucking angry. I am fucking explosively angry. I'm angry because the system that they clearly tell you, oh, just play by the rules and everything will work out for you. But if I lifted a finger, if I administered street justice on his ass, the police or whoever would track me down in a heartbeat and they would arrest me. I'd wind up doing 10, maybe 15 years. Yeah, that's how it works. So yeah, outside of there, I'm all right. But I'm very, very angry. I'm very, very angry.
So where are you going to place all this anger?
Well, I'm gonna go to my lawyers and see what I can do if I can land on my feet.
Do you have faith in your lawyers? Are they good enough to get the job done?
Well, I'm just gonna have to invest in that. That's all that I have. Because, like I said, if I exact street justice, I'd be burying myself, and they would bury me. Believe me, if I exact street justice, they would bury me. So I have no other avenue to go down other than going through the attorneys that's handling the case.
Okay.
I just saw some things I can't even talk about now.
Okay.
Some measures I'm going to take that I don't wish to talk out here because I don't want them to prepare for anything. But that's what I'm going to do now. The recourse that I have now is to go through the system. I have to go through the system. That's the only other recourse I have. Because if I do it any other way, they'll bury me. They'll lock me up. They'll lock me up. They'll do a Harry Weinstein or Bill Cosby on me.
Yeah, you know what, Uncle? You and Bill will be sharing a cell together.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yes. Me, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Harry Weinstein. We'd be in. They'd bury us. They'd make an example out of people who have any kind of notoriety. I have lesser notoriety than Cosby or Harry Weinstein, but I have notoriety nonetheless in the United States and in many places in Europe. But these people are playing games with people's lives because this person came up to me and attacked me for virtually no reason at all because of talk. Because I defended myself in words, not, mind you, not in actions. I defended myself in words against his sister. I did no harm to his sister, neither one of them. Clarissa or the other sister that instigated this, I did no harm. But I defended myself in words because I had two females putting their hands up to my face. And And again, where I come from, you don't put your hands up to no one's face. Because if you do that, then you're asking to be smacked or knocked out on the spot. I didn't do none of that. I just talked. And this coward attacked me from the back. And then they said, oh, it's just a misdemeanor. It's no big thing. You know, he just lost a few teeth. He just had bleeding on the brain. So it's no big thing. We just give him a slap on the wrist. So it doesn't mean nothing to the people that it happened to me. And it means something. So I have to take the only course that's available to me to go through the system.
It's a shame. It's a real shame.
Yeah, it's a shame because we as a people never stick up for each other. We never do that. Across this globe, we don't stick up. You know, like who was that down there in who was that the Tutsi and the Hutu and the Tutsi? Is that what am I in down in Rwanda?
Talk to me more about what happened.
The Hutu and the Tutsi, they're down in Rwanda some years ago when they was murdering each other.
Okay. What happened in the end?
On black murder, they were murdering each other, you know? And the whole world sat back and watched, and nobody did nothing. No black leaders stepped up. Nobody said, stop this madness, stop murdering each other. Nobody said nothing. You know? So it's just, black on black crime is a given. You know, you can do that, you can walk away.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's gonna sanction you in any kind of way. In this particular case, this coward did this to me. If this was anybody else, he'd be banned from being on a boxing circuit. He couldn't even come to a boxing show. They would not allow him to come in a boxing show. But because it was a black on black crime, nobody's making a big thing about it. So we can just slap him on the wrist and we can allow him to come to shows again if he wants to. And I'm pissed off about it. I really am pissed off about it. But I have to contain myself. I have to do this thing the only way that's available to me in my mind. Because I think about if I exacted any kind of street justice, I would separate myself from my family for the rest of my life. If I did anything, my emotions makes me want to, and my emotions are saying, who this guy think he is? They come up and strike me, from behind, injure me, and just walk away, I mean, who does he think he is? That's what my emotions are saying. My emotions are saying, who does he think that he can get away with this?
Is that not an ego thing as well, Uncle? I mean, the male ego?
Who's my ego?
Yes, of course, as well. Because
No,
is that not bruised?
No, it's not. It's not the ego. This is past ego.
Okay.
This guy injured me, man.
Of course he did.
Injured me.
I get that.
Ego is more like a thing, like nothing really physically happened. It's just my ego is bruised. But no, this guy has struck me in my skull. I have bleeding on the brain twice. I lost all of my teeth. I have a mild fracture of my cheekbone. The eardrum was busted. I mean, I was injured because I was not unconscious. I never even saw this guy do that. Thank God that somebody saw him. The police observed him and arrested him. Otherwise, he would have gotten away scot free. I would have just been left saying that something happened at an event. But by the grace of God, he was caught. He admitted to it. And they said, okay, it's just a misdemeanor. A misdemeanor is nothing. So I'm just saying, what does a person have to do? Die? Maybe if I died, then they would charge him with second, third degree. They did second, third degree murder. And I know that there's some politicians involved with this. I know there's politicians involved with this. You know, I mean, you got a court. You know, here's a guy that's on probation already on 2 other charges because he had an aggravated assault before me. Then he has a felony arson before me, and then assault me. Then somebody says that he got a plea bargain. How do you get the plea bargain if you got 2 other assault and arson? How does that happen? It's mind-boggling that the system allows this to happen. So it's like saying, okay, you black ass stupid people can kill each other, and we're only going to give you a slap on the wrist. So that's like saying, okay, here's the keys to the car. You can drive down the street, murder somebody, and then maybe we'll act. You know, and that's what makes me angry. You know, but ego doesn't come into play. It's past ego. You know, this is really upset about it.
So how are you gonna overcome, or how are you gonna deal with this? What's gonna bring resolution to you, or will you ever get resolution in this matter?
Like I said, I have to go through the system and see, you know, what happens. Because if I take any other route, if I respond any other way, then I'm going to get myself in
A lot of trouble.
everything that I work for, everything that I labor for, everything that I work for and labor for my entire life, everything that I've taught my children, every kind of example that I've made for my children. If I do this, that'll go against everything I've taught them. It'll go against everything I've taught my children, my family. So I'm basically living for my children.
So you need to set the example.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay. You're now, I believe, with Vlad Tsarenko training. How's that going?
Everything is going well. Vlad Tsarenko is a hard worker, and he listens. He listens. And that's what I like about him. He's been very respectful of me, and he listens. Even when I'm not being favorable to him, he listens closely to what I say. And I make him understand that every step we take towards the heavyweight championship of the world is a serious step. Because in boxing, nobody gives you nothing. You have to earn everything that you get. Otherwise, it becomes another face in the crowd. You become another face in the crowd. There are so many boxers that I've seen over these 50 years, nearly 51 now. So many boxers that I've seen come and go. And lots of them just made it very close to crossing that line, but just didn't make it. And now they're relegated with just being a face in the crowd. I'm trying to get Vlad Tsarenko to understand that you don't want to be a face in the crowd. Your mission is to become the heavyweight champion of the world. And that's easier said than done. So everything that I'm telling you inside that ring, you have got to try to do it. You have to
So
find a way. You have to find a way.
in between the time that you were away because of the injuries and you coming back now to Vlad Serenko, have you noticed any changes in Vlad in terms of technical? Has he improved? Has he stayed the same? Has he stagnated? What have you noticed since he's come
Yeah,
back?
in my absence, he's a young man, so he drifted here and he drifted here, a little to the left, a little to the right. But for the most part, he still understands the basic fundamentals of what must be done.
Right, that's the most important thing.
So I have to remind him of different things that he's doing and different things that he's not doing. I call him to be reminded of what he has to do. No, 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 no. Don't do that like this. This is how you need to do that. If you do this, you need to do that. If you need to do that, you need to do this. I'll constantly remind him. And it's like a broken record over and over and over and over and over. I'll stop him and say, listen, stop. You have to do this. I have to bring it back to mind. You know, he's working. He has been working with other trainers here in Ukraine, and of course, those trainers don't have the insight that I have. They don't have the insight. They don't have the knowledge that I have. So naturally, they're going to miss something. They're going to miss something, and I have to remind him of the things that we've been working on over this time.
Okay. Um, Earlier on, we did a live show from South Africa, and a trainer that you know fairly well, Steve Kalakoda, was talking about you full praise, and he was talking about the difference between a boxing coach and a teacher, and he says that you're one of the very few teachers left in world boxing. He then went on to say that he believes that you are the man who can give Deontay Wilder uh, the uh, the tools necessary to beat Tyson Fury. What are your thoughts on this?
I can teach any student who is willing to listen and embrace the idea of my concept. I can teach uh, 90% out of 100%. I can teach 90% of them how this thing works. And I'm not just talking about the technique, but I'm talking about the spiritual and technical resolutions that you need to go for. Deontay Wilder is the ex-heavyweight champion of the world, and I believe that he can beat heavyweight champion again. But there are some minor things that needs to be tweaked. I don't know what teaching him boxing at this stage, I think he's 42, 43 fights. I don't know whether he can be taught the things that he missed out in his career. But yeah, I could teach him. I would like that. I would like that. But again, teaching in a classroom when you have a professor in a college or any teacher in a class, they're just that teacher. It's not that teacher and the teacher's aide and all these other people interfering. It's just the teacher and the student. I think that I can do a good job with teaching Deontay Wilder. But the biggest thing with people in Deontay's position now is ego. It's ego that I've been here. And who is anybody to come in and tell me what to do now? So trying to overcome the ego, if there is in fact one, you know. But I've been around Steve Calacola a lot. Steve Calacola is a good guy. He's a good guy, and he's one of the very, very good people left in the sport of boxing. He understands the nature of the sport. He understands the ramifications, what boxers have to do to get from point A to point Z. Steve Calacola is one of those guys. And I like associating with Steve Calicola. I like the collaboration that I have with him, and I look forward to doing business with Calicola in the near future.
Well, did you know that the Calacoda is talking about having a big event in Africa in Congo, Brazzaville, the same place that the Brazzaville bomber, the 6'7" heavyweight you were saying that looks like he could be something special. They're going to be doing something in the Congo, I believe, and they want to have some of the top heavyweights over there to start promoting boxing in Africa. What are your thoughts about that?
Well, if Steve Calicola is involved, and I say this clear, if Steve Calicola is involved in anything that's going on down in Africa, in the Congo or anywhere else, those people that's involved would best serve themselves by embracing what Steve Calicola has to say, because he's been there, he's done that, he knows how to do it again. Like I said, I'm looking forward to joining forces with Steve Calicola. You know, if I'm going to go forward in boxing, I know it'd be in my best interest to be with Steve Calicola.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
He's talking about the Brazzaville bomber, the 6'7". He got similar build to Deontay Wilder. Just seems to have a little bit more meat on him. Tell me about him from what you've seen of him.
I don't know much about him, you know, but he looks the part. He looks the part, you know. He looks the part. He's a big, strong guy, and he's willing.
Okay, that's good to hear. What's your take on this whole Ruan Vissa situation? Because according to Steve Calacoda, the sample that was submitted wasn't the sample that Vissa supplied. Also, that the sample was at the person's house over a weekend, and then it was a different sample number that was submitted.
Yeah, they you know what? The powers that be might as well let this case go in favor of Ruan Vissa, because there's too many hiccups here. You know, you can't leave a sample in no one place for 48 hours and then submit the sample
It was
to the.
it was worse, more than 48 hours. It was like from Thursday to Monday. It was that long.
Right. Well, I was just saying 48 hours more. It's just it's not a good look. So I'm saying that the powers that be need to let this case go by the wayside, because there's nothing that nobody can do. It's been too long. And, you know, you have 4 or few officials that says, okay, the case is clear. Ruan, I think, had 1, maybe 2 fights in that case, and then they come back 9 months later and say, no, he's guilty. That's not a good look. You know, that's not a good look.
Now the next story was that the fight that he was scheduled to have was against Efan Ajagba. What do you make of that? How'd that fight go?
I don't think Ruan was prepared to meet Efan Ajagba, and you never can tell, because Efan Ajagba didn't look too good in his last fight.
No, he didn't.
Fight before the last.
Yeah.
Fight before the last fight.
Yeah.
So but Ruan hasn't had the work that would prepare him for that. Ruan didn't have the work that would prepare him. Efan Ajagba had an amateur background. He's been busy as a pro. So I didn't like that fight. I didn't like Ruan in that fight. But I guess there was an opportunity, that they had to go forth and take the fight.
Okay. Another fighter that you know very well, Alexander Usyk, was in the UK today. and he came face to face with War Chisora. Your thoughts?
I think that this has the chemistry to make a tremendously entertaining fight. I think that each has an anti-style for the other. And I think that's going to be a really good fight.
Now, I was talking to viewers earlier about Usyk and Chisora, and I said I was disappointed in Chisora. See, if I was managing and promoting Chisora, I'd be telling Chisora from the minute the press conference took off, I'd be in Usyk's face, and at some point in that press conference, I'd either disrespect to Usyk or push him because I need to let him know from the start you're not going to do that stuff here in the UK with me. You're not going to be dancing around the ring and no, this is a fight. You're here for a fight because I have to do something to get him out of his rhythm. I've got to get him out of his mindset. I've got to get him to fight. I can't have him boxing me. I need to fight him mad.
I felt that Chisora was a bit subdued. I don't know, maybe that's part of his strategy. But I felt that he was a bit subdued, a bit kind, a bit soft going into that press conference. And I was shocked. I was shocked to say the least. Alexander Usyk is going to be Alexander Usyk. I don't care who it is.
And let me ask you a question. If the Chisora turned up for the Vitaly Klitschko square off where he slapped Vitaly in his face, I'm thinking if Chisora were to slap Usyk in his face in the same manner, how does Usyk respond as you know Usyk?
Usyk probably would have laughed out. Usyk probably would have laughed at him, knowing him. He wouldn't have gone off the deep end. Usyk is a cool, calculated assassin.
Cool and calculated if you're allowed to have things your own way. I can be cool and calculated if I've got a guy that's gonna not give me anything that's gonna make me be uncool, but a good hard slap in his face. Because to be honest, if Derek Chisora allows Usyk to box, game over. So he's got to get Usyk as ragged as possible. A good hard slap in his face to remind him you're in London, you're fighting at the O2 Arena, you're fighting War Chisora, and it's a war we're gonna have. So to get Usyk ragged and then be able to land the overhand right, because otherwise, and get him into a fight. Otherwise, Usyk takes center ring, boxes, and Chisora's swinging and missing all night long.
Well, the only one that has been able to take Alexander Usyk out of the game plan thus far is Marius Breeders. Nobody has come that close since Breeders. You know, I don't know if anybody else can do that.
The intensity of Chisora, can that give us something that we haven't seen in Usyk so far?
Well, that intensity against a guy like a calculated boxer like Usyk, and make no mistakes, Usyk is a calculated boxer, puncher, not a puncher, boxer, but he's a calculated boxer, puncher. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to break that kind of rhythm versus Alexander Usyk.
Usyk's the kind of guy, from what I've noticed of him, Uncle, and now because you're the expert with Usyk, he's a guy that goes through gears. If you can disrupt those gears by giving him something to think about early, hit him, hurt him early, put him against the ropes, and force him to fight from bell one, there's less chance of him being calculated because he's getting punches winged at every angle at him.
Well, it all depends on how he's being prepared. Every fight offers a different approach. So you start the building the fight up for the approach in the training camp, not on the night that the fight happens. You start building up the calculation in the training camp for the mindset of a Derek Chisora, or the mindset of a Marius Breeders, or the mindset of Chaz Witherspoon. You see, the trainers now, they don't observe the opponents. They don't get into the mindset. They don't get into the chemistry of the opponent. Me, I live with the opponent from the time the contract is signed until the first bell rings, until the last bell rings. You know, I'm there. I'm living with this guy. I understand him. I watch the small habits. You know, and by the time we get to the training camp, I know just what we have to do to give ourselves the best chance of overcoming anything that the fighter does.
The strategy of going to Usyk's body and forgetting about trying to win the fight on points and looking to slow him down, take his legs away from him, and then later on really jump on top of him and do the reverse to what he does.
Yeah, I suspect that Chisora is going to attack the body. I suspect that he's going to try to press Usyk to the ropes and explode on him and do body work to try to take some wind out of the sail. But in doing so, he's going to run into a lot of firepower. He's got to be willing to take a lot, because Usyk had different angles and he had hand speed. And a guy like Usyk, big strong guy like Usyk, when I say big strong, you know, in the amateurs, Usyk had somewhat 300 fights as an amateur, and in the amateurs, he faced off against all of the European styles. So that prepares him for a fight versus Derek Chisora or anybody else, because he's faced all kinds of styles. Yes?
But Uncle, as you say, you do say that, but that was the amateurs, and that's 3 rounds. Usyk, go ahead, Uncle.
Wait. Some of those fights were 5 rounds. Some of those fights were 5 rounds. You know, the World Series of boxing was 5 rounds.
Okay.
And you had 300 fights or more. So what I'm saying is, when you're in there boxing, you got a case for and a case and again. A case for and against. He's used to being in there with a strong guy, a tough guy, trying to take his head off. And he's prepared for that. You know, I know that there's been statements made that I'm so big on Alexander Usyk. You know, I'm so big on Alexander Usyk, but I know what Usyk brings to the table. He's a dynamic boxer. He's a dynamic mentality. He's not going to shake. He's not going to be fearful. He's going to be sharp as a razor, and he's going to let his hand go. Derek Chisora is going to try to walk through anything that's in front of him. He's not going to shake. He's not going to bat an eye. This is going to be a good fight. And I don't expect this fight to go the distance. I don't expect that.
The Chaz Witherspoon fight, that's the last thing we've seen of Usyk, and then I'll go to the fight with Bellew. Chaz Witherspoon, I don't know where they dug him up from, but he was able to tag Usyk with that straight right hand and the overhand right hand, noticed on more than one occasion, and Usyk didn't seem to have an answer to that right hand. And this is Chaz Witherspoon, who's not got the fastest of hands. I wouldn't say he's the most explosive of punchers, and he didn't have the will to really win. And he hadn't really trained for the fight. I mean,
again, it goes back to who's training Usyk. I don't let my fighters go to sleep on the job. I don't let fighters go to sleep on their posts. I said to Vlad Sarinkwa today, I don't like the way you box the last 3 rounds. You need to pick it up. You need to be more alert. You need to have an answer for these punches. You can't. You don't have the luxury. You do not have the luxury of laying back and coasting for the last 3 rounds. No, you pick it up the last 3 rounds. You try to be dominant the last 3 rounds. You fight like you're fighting for your life in the sparring camp. You introduce a different mentality to the fight and say, well, this is just sparring. No. This is for all of the marbles right here, because the way you train is the way you're going to fight. You don't wait for the night of the fight to tell a guy, you got to be sharp, you got to be this, you got to be that. No, you do it in the training camp. Every single day that you step in the ring. So everybody got different applications about how a training camp is supposed to run. I don't let somebody sleep on the job. I didn't let Alexander Usyk sleep on the job. I always made him alert that you are Alexander Usyk and your name has got a bullseye on the back. All right? Usyk has a bullseye, a round target on the back of his name. So you got to make him aware of who he is and what he's doing in that ring. And I want to win every single round in sparring and every single round in the fight. People said, that's impossible. I said, yeah, well, let it be impossible. But don't tell my fighter that's impossible. No, you don't tell them that. You tell them that it's possible. Who said it's impossible? Can somebody prove that it's impossible? They can't prove it. They can only assume that's impossible.
Mm-hmm.
But they can't prove it. There's no way to prove it.
Usyk's injuries, they have since you have no longer been training him. These injuries have stopped fights or postponed fights. Why is Usyk getting more and more injured?
I don't know. I don't know. It could be over eagerness, taking more chances to engage. I don't know. Maybe it was maybe it was my good fortune. It never happened with me. You gotta have people there in a camp. Like Deontay Wilder. You gotta have people there with the fighter. At least 90% of the time, to make them aware of who they are and what they represent to themselves and to others. You make them aware of who they are, and you make them understand that you can't go out here looking like John Doe. You're Alexander Usyk. You got to be on point in sparring and in the fight.
Okay.
That's my position. That's my position as a trainer.
What?
Oh man, I tell you, it's just so much in boxing that I see wrong now with the trainers, so-called trainers. All right, they call themselves trainers. They're trainers. Go out and do your job. But I see so much compared to the old days from the old trainers that I learned from. I just see so many shortcomings. And I'm just saying that these fighters are out there fighting and learning the fight game on their own. It's just a few good trainers around. I won't make note of who those trainers are. But there are a few good trainers around. You'll know them when you see them. All you have to do is sit back and observe, and you'll see who they are.
What are the? Give me 2 examples or 3 examples of common faults that you've seen in trainers. You don't have to go specific. Just give me areas.
The jab, one of the first weapons in the fight game, the jab. Larry Holmes made a living off of his jab. You don't hear trainers in the gym, you don't hear trainers in the fight imploring using the jab. Larry Holmes, Muhammad Ali, Pink One Thomas made a career out of using the jabs. Fighting on the ropes, you know, you don't do that. You don't take chances. Ropes, being on the ropes is a place that makes you vulnerable to even the least fighter have a chance to get lucky on those ropes. As soon as your back touches those ropes, I always tell my fighters,
Get
when
out
your
of it.
back touches those ropes,
Get out of it.
those ropes represent hot steel.
Get out of it.
Can you imagine when your flesh touches something hot? Hot
Get out.
pipe,
Aye. Get out of
the
there.
hot. As soon as your back touches that hot pipe,
Get out of
you
it.
don't have to tell nobody to get out. They're out of it. They're gone. So their back touches that hot pipe.
You're gone. You're gone. Yeah. Bad things happen when back touch ropes. That's what I was
No,
told.
you pull out. You pull out.
Yeah.
Basically, to the right or to the left, but you get off of those ropes.
Get out the side door, Uncle. Get out the side door.
But in most cases, the trainers tell them just relax, stay where you are, and try to work off the ropes.
Yeah, right.
No, it's a bad thing. It's the only thing that's going to happen is bad things.
Let me give you an example of something, Uncle, that happened about 2 weeks ago. Young fighter, I'm not going to call his name, young fighter was up against a pretty legendary fighter. The legendary fighter has been known to start fast and throws lots and lots of punches and like 60, 70 punches around at least, and he overwhelms his opponent. The young fighter that was fighting against him, well, he fought a couple of names, but nothing really to talk about. This was his coming out party. And the guy that he had fought was, let's say, the other side of his career, they say, and he'd been knocked out before, but he's still a pound for pound fighter. Now, I listened to the first round, and the young fighter's been told by his trainer, take your time against a pound for pound fighter that is known as a whirlwind and starts the first round as he closes the 12th round like a hurricane or like a tornado. Why would a trainer be telling a fighter, take your time against a guy who's coming at him at 90 miles an hour? Why would you tell a fighter to take your time? Can you explain that to me?
Is the fighter coming at him an older fighter?
Yeah, he's old experience, but it's coming like a tornado, and he's a pound for pound legend.
Well, I think I can understand him saying take your time, because sooner or later that older fighter is going to wear down. He's going to wear out. He's coming on like gangbusters and like a tornado. I understand.
But he's a legendary tornado, not a local tornado. He's legendary. He wipes at anything that's in his path. I'm talking
All
about
right.
I'm talking about Roman Gonzalez, Uncle.
Yeah, Roman Gonzalez is a very experienced fighter. He's a very dangerous fighter. But I can understand to some degree saying take your time, because when you don't take your time, you can't see a lot of things. When you engage, you got a guy coming at you like a whirlwind. When you try to engage with that, then you're subject to get with punches that you shouldn't get hit with.
But you're still subject to getting hit with punches anyway. What about if you tell the fighter, be alert?
Right.
What about tell the fighter, be alert? That's a different engagement because you'll say, be alert, be aware. If you're telling a guy, take your time, then he might never come out of that gear of literally taking your time.
Well, I like I said, I can relate to you saying take your time. So that is the younger fighter. Because somewhere in that tornado, that younger fighter, if he can punch, now if he can punch, he can afford to take it down. If he can't punch, he got to get busy. But if he can punch, you know, you can punch between the holes.
But if you can't,
punch between the holes.
but if you can't punch, what happens if you can't punch?
If he can't punch, he's got to get busy. But if he can punch now, he can tell him to take his time, because that's somewhere that punch is going to catch him. But if he can't punch, he's got to go to work.
Interesting.
He's got to go to work. There's such thing as laying too long. Me, myself, I try to make a fighter aware of where he's at and what he's doing right from the very beginning. If the first 1-2 round doesn't go right, I'll call him to his senses at the end of the second round. I say, listen here, this is a 10-round fight. You got to do something. You got to get busy. Punch straight. The best advice that I can give is punch straight. Because when you punch it straight, you're going to hit something. You're looping the punches, then most likely you can miss.
Okay.
You can easily miss punches when you loop them. If you punch straight, you're going to hit something. You know what I'm saying? And when a guy's working, like you said, he's a tornado coming forward. Hey, you got to meet him with stiff shots coming forward too, straight down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to miss.
Mm-hmm. Core 2971 asks the question: can Usyk beat Joshua and Fury?
I think that Usyk can beat Joshua and Fury. I think Joshua will be a harder one to beat. I think that Usyk can beat Fury easy.
What?
I think Usyk can beat Joshua. I think he can beat Fury easy. I think that Joshua will be more difficult for Usyk to beat, but I think he can beat him.
Why'd you say this?
Styles make fights. That's something that will never ever change in the sport of boxing. Styles makes fight.
Even the style that Fury used against Wilder, which was a totally different style to what we've seen him use.
That worked with Wilder because of the style that Wilder fought Fury in. That's not the style of Usyk. Usyk is a move, groove, slip, and slide. He'd have to look for Usyk. And while he's looking for him, he'd be getting hit. He couldn't come in 200, 73 or 280 pounds? Mm-hmm. What was it? Pretty big, right?
Yeah, 19 stone.
No, it's not going to work with Usyk. It's not going to work with Usyk. I know things, like I said, I don't want to blow Usyk's whole call, but I know things about Usyk that would allow him to beat Fury. Fury would be able to contend with Usyk after 7 or 8 rounds.
Okay. What about Joshua?
Joshua is a horse with another color. He can make adjustments. But I do think that Usyk can beat Joshua too. I told you what, 3 years ago?
Yeah, you did.
I said that this guy, Usyk, can beat that man. And I said that if possible, I would pull Usyk out of that the undisputed tournament. And right after that, he fought Reedus and nearly lost. You remember, right?
Yeah, I remember.
I said, I'd pull him out of that tournament, and I'd take him to fight Deontay Wilder. Somebody had failed to show up for Deontay Wilder's fight.
Louis Ortiz.
And I said, I'd pull Usyk out of the tournament, and I'd put him in this with Deontay Wilder right now. Because I still felt that Usyk could beat Deontay. That Deontay would never land the right hand against versus Usyk. He would never land that right hand. And if he doesn't land the right hand, versus Usyk, if he doesn't land that right hand, then he's going nowhere. He'd have to land that right hand. He'd have to land that right hand fast. And if he doesn't land it, he's not going to win the fight.
Okay. Do you have any further thoughts on Fury Wilder 2, Glovegate, PED Gate, and all the rest that's going with the race baiting and all the rest of it that's going on?
Say that again. Ask that question again.
Do you have any further thoughts on Fury Wilder 2, the Glovegate, the PED, the VADA testing? Obviously, both men came back clear. Fury's Glovegate and all the rest that's going on at the moment.
No, I have nothing. I have nothing to say about the gloves. Fury won the fight as far as I'm concerned. The conspiracy, all of that stuff.
You don't care much.
I'm not into that. I'm not into that. I'm not into that. I think that Fury won the fight. Because of Deontay Wilder's shortcomings, and that's it.
Wilder said, "Don't count me out."
People say a lot of things after they lose. People say a lot of things.
Do you think he can come back, Uncle? Mente?
I don't know.
We've seen Fury come back. We've seen Joshua come back. Can Wilder do?
I don't know. I really don't know. He got stopped. And Joshua was coming back because, Ruiz made it a priority to stop at every McDonald's that he saw, on the way to the fight. He made it a priority. He made it a priority to stop at every McDonald's that he saw along the way. And because of it, it made Joshua's job relatively easy.
Yeah. I guess so.
Yeah. I mean, all Joshua did was try to move. He moved and grooved all night long. He just moved and grooved. And you had a guy that was in front of him that had ate so many burgers that he couldn't pick up his feet to catch up to him.
Couldn't move with him.
He couldn't keep up with him.
No, not at all. Not at all. Uncle, do you have a message for Usyk fans? They listen to you a lot and they listen to your interviews and what you have to say. Do you have anything to say to Usyk fans ahead of this Chisora fight?
Well, it's important. One, if not the best heavyweight in the world right now in Usyk. That's what his support is. Because, like I said, in every conversation I've had with you concerning Usyk, he's phenomenal. He's special. I think it was Nick Drakulich.
Yes.
Drakulich.
Vic Drakulich.
That's his name.
Yes.
That's his name, right?
Yeah, Vic Drakulich. Top referee.
He came to me. He repped one of Usyk's fights. I can't think what fight it was. Maybe it was the fight just before he fought Lovosky. And he came to me at the press conference. He pulled me aside and took me outside of the press conference. And he looked into my eyes and he stood me real close. He acted as though he didn't want nobody to hear him talking to me. He said, "You are in possession of the future heavyweight champ of the world, and he's very special." Well, I'm saying to you that Alexander Usyk is the heavyweight champ of the world in the making. He's special. He's a special guy, and he's going to be heavyweight champ of the world. Nobody's going to stop him. Nobody's going to stop him because he's special. I know things about Alexander Usyk he might not even know about himself. But he's special. I have to echo what Nick Practice said. He's special. And he's going to be heavyweight champ of the world.
Okay, I think that's a perfect line to stop to end our interview on. Is there anything else you want to say before we go, Uncle?
To all of the people out there in boxing who pride themselves or call themselves boxing trainers, you have attorneys and you have the attorneys. You have electricians and you have the electricians. I'm just saying to the people in boxing, strive to learn what you're doing. Strive to understand the boxer. Strive to learn the application of what you're doing. Because knowledge is one thing, but having the application to apply that knowledge is something totally different. When you have the two of them working together, that gives you the best chance to give sound advice. People are stuck, bent on this mitts with tricks, slapping with mitts and all of that stuff. That stuff don't prove anything. That proves that you're a good aerobics teacher, but it doesn't teach boxing. Again, it teaches you how to be a good aerobic teacher, but it doesn't teach you the application, to know when to hold, to know when to fold, to know when to approach, and know not when to approach. So go back and learn your craft. There are plenty of fights on the internet to learn from, to learn your application from. You just gotta watch, study. Everybody wants to be a hot shot trainer. Everybody wants to be a wise guy. Those trainers of the past, they learned tooth and nail. Tooth and nail. I spent some good years under some good trainers. Emmanuel Stewart being one of them. And I appreciate those years I spent. I wasn't always happy, about the fact that I wasn't getting the kind of information that I wanted to get, but I was patient. And in time, I learned, that it doesn't come overnight. You have to labor. But today's so-called trainers are hot shots. They're hot shots and they want to go out before it's time. And in the process, they mess up a lot of young fighters.
That's very true.
Learn your craft. Yeah. They mess up a lot of young fighters, giving false advice, trying to be in the know. Oh man, I just see so much of it. It's humiliating to me to watch these people who are supposed to know the sport, who have people going out there putting their lives on the line, and then the people in the corner, they come back and they don't have any advice for them. They don't have any advice for them. I appreciate the fact that I was in the corner with Lennox Lewis and Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko, and Shannon Briggs, Neil Klein, and Mo Harris. I respect those guys. I respect those guys because they always when they came to me, they always looked for me to further their knowledge about the sport because they were young guys, you know. And they, when they came to me, I always tried to be forthcoming with good, concrete information when I told them something. And I still maintain a relationship with all of these guys. McCline, Shannon Briggs, Emil McCline, Vladimir Klitschko, Victor Lee Klitschko. I maintain a relationship with each one of those guys to this day. And they respect me, and I respect them. You know, and if I didn't give them sound advice throughout their years in boxing, then I don't think that they'd be associated with me right now. But each one of them, I can call them on the phone right now and talk to them any time of day, any time of night. And Maurice Harris, you know, he didn't make it, but I have the utmost respect for Maurice Harris. I have the utmost respect because he went through it, man. He went through it. This guy, he went through it with no amateur background. And he was in there with the toughest guys in the world. Sometimes he won and sometimes he lost. But he always came to fight. And I got the greatest respect in the world for this guy. Man, sure. When he looked back on his life, you know, 10, 15, 20 years from now, and God willing that he lives that long, and I hope he does, when he looks back on what he did in boxing, shoot, goodness gracious, you know. I was just so upset with him at some point because I said this guy was a beautiful, beautiful boxer, you know, but he is amongst a long list of fighters that if he coulda, woulda, shoulda, but he was nonetheless, he was one of the best I've ever seen up close and personal. This guy that could fight. He just didn't make it. For whatever the reason, that's between him and God. But Maurice Harris, he could fight. He could fight. Man, when I watched him box, I watched him box. I said, "Oh my God, this guy can fight." You know, and he was right there with this other guy I was talking about. They were virtually legends, but Harris was right there with him. You know, I watched him box Shannon Briggs, Vladimir Klitschko, Vitaly Klitschko, Lennox Lewis. I watched him box those guys. Mike Tyson. This guy could fight. When I think about him, I think about, damn, we almost had it. We almost had it. And you know, when I look at Vlad Tsarenko, I said I don't want to be on the almost list again. I want him to win the heavyweight championship. That's why I ride him so hard. I ride him hard. Him, I ride him. So I was going down memory lane for a minute. I just zoned out. When I talk about Mo Harris, I always zone out because that was my baby. That was my baby. I had him from the very beginning, and he was phenomenal. He could fight. He could fight. And if I had to say who was the best natural boxer that I've ever trained in my life, I'd say Mo Harris. I'd say for Mo Harris. He was the best that I ever personally trained. He could do everything. He was a sharp puncher. He wasn't no heavy-handed guy, but he punched so sharp, it was the same result. When you're a sharp puncher, you get the same result as being a hard puncher. I mean, this guy can slip, he can jab, he can hook, he can do it all. He can do it all. But if he could have, would have, should have, that's another story.
Okay,
so Mo
Uncle.
Harris, so Mo Harris, wherever you are, I salute you. I have respect for you. You know, we bump heads a lot. We used to bump heads all the time. For all the
Yeah, I understand that.
Father trying to get a son to see the light, But wherever you are, I salute you. I respect you. God bless.
Uncle Bashir, thank you so much once again for such beautiful insight. We appreciate you.
Yes, thank you.
God bless you and good night.
It's been a pleasure.
As always. Thank you, Uncle.
This is good light, good night from Kiev, Ukraine.
Thank you, Uncle. Good night.